The first SPAC to list in the Middle East soars in its Abu Dhabi trading debut, and Moody's lowers Egypt's outlook to negative. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Farrage. ADC Acquisition Corporation, the first SPAC in the UAE, soared in trade on the ADX today following the completion of its IPO. ADC, launched by Abu Dhabi wealth fund ADQ and private investment firm Chimera Investments, has raised $99.9 million by issuing 36.7 million shares at $2.72 a share. The UAE's first SPAC regulatory framework indicates that upon listing, blank check firms must ensure that 90% of proceeds are placed in a non-interest-bearing account to protect the interests of investors. Al Marine, a subsidiary of International Holding Company, has acquired 2 LPG tankers for $67 million. The company, which has operations across multiple marine sectors, was acquired to meet the increase in global demand for LPG transport. Al-Sir says it plans to acquire up to 15 ships this year amid its expansion strategy and goal to become a global leader in commercial shipping. Moody's has lowered Egypt's outlook to negative, warning that its narrowing foreign exchange buffer is putting it at greater risk from external shocks. Egypt is looking at external debt service payments of $25 to $30 billion over the next 3 years. Meanwhile, the size of Egypt's debt as a ratio of GDP will likely reach 93.5% in fiscal year 2022. A record volume of Russian oil is on board tankers, with unprecedented amounts heading to India and China as other nations restrict imports due to the Ukraine war. Between 74 and 79 million barrels from the OPEC Plus producer were in transit and floating storage over the past week. That's more than double the 27 million barrels before its invasion of Ukraine. Asia overtook Europe as the largest Russian oil buyer for the first time, and that gap is set to widen in May. India plans to raise its pharmaceutical production to $65 billion by 2024 and to between $120 and $130 billion by 2030. Despite its aim to boost domestic pharma production to 200 countries, it heavily depends on Chinese imports of active pharmaceutical ingredients. India imports 68% of its pharma ingredient requirement from China. Officials suggest the government encourage Indian pharma firms to collaborate on tech development and commercialization to promote self-reliance in the pharma industry. Let's take a look now at today's Forbes Real-Time Billionaires ranking. It tracks the daily ups and downs of the world's richest people. Our biggest winner today is Elon Musk, up $11.7 billion, with net wealth of $217.8 billion. Our second biggest winner today is Bernard Arnault and family, up $9.4 billion, with net wealth of $151.9 billion. And our third place winner is Jeff Bezos, up $4.3 billion, with net wealth of $136.8 billion. Check out our website and our social media for all of the latest billionaires news. China Evergrande Group may repay offshore public bondholders owed around $19 billion with cash installments and equity in 2 of its Hong Kong listed units. Evergrande is the world's most indebted developer. Its entire $22.7 billion of offshore debt, including loans and private bonds, is deemed to be in default after missing payments last year. It may repay offshore creditors the principal and interest by turning them into new bonds, which will then be repaid in installments over 7 to 10 years. Toyota has announced another cut to its global production plan by 50,000, reducing the number to 800,000 vehicles. The reduction is due to the part shortage caused by the pandemic lockdown in Shanghai. Toyota also says it's suspending the operations at some of its domestic plants for the week of June 6th. The automaker had already cut production by 100,000 on Tuesday, also citing semiconductor shortages. I'm Ramia Farrage. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.